In western Tibet, far from the world's noise, a lone peak rises, untouched, unconquered, a place seen once, never forgotten. Some call it the axis of the world, a mountain said to hold the secrets of time and space. Others believe it's a pyramid from a lost civilization, a key to human origins. Russian scientists reported time loss. A Nazi team searched for Shambhala. Legends speak of a hidden portal beneath the ice. This mountain has altered biology, aged men in hours. Some never returned. It defies reason, yet stands vast and silent. Sacred across faiths, forbidden to climb. Every layer of ice holds a secret science cannot reach. Its name is Kailash. The moment I left Janda, the world fell silent. The mountains faded in color. The wind turned to a whisper. This was no longer Tibet as we knew it, but a crossing into something timeless and sacred. From the ruins of ancient Zhangjiang, we drove a corridor where faith and time entwine, toward a mountain no one has ever conquered, Mount Kailash. Here, where the Himalayas meet lost civilizations, pilgrims from Buddhism, Hinduism, Bon, and Jainism gather. And ahead, a mountain revered for millennia, yet quietly avoided by modern science. Mount Kailash Base Camp, nearly 5,000 meters above sea level, feels like a blank page, waiting for the story to begin.
冈仁波齐大本营的那个观景餐厅，我们昨天在这儿订的，来个西红柿鸡蛋汤，然后一个香菇炒油菜，要一个糖醋里脊，主食来个酸菜肉丝面，炒菜的大厨1点，然后先吃点肉等等。这海拔4650米，糖醋里脊，那条件太好了。这一锅鸡蛋汤，我去，太大了。高原地区喝碗汤舒服。
The camp is still. Tin-roofed huts form a rough square, part outpost, part threshold. Kailash casts a presence over everything, a charge suspended between awe and expectation, with a quiet thread of unease, passing silently from person to person. Perhaps what lies ahead isn't just a mountain, but an encounter beyond comprehension. The legends of Mount Kailash have never faded. Its mysteries still silence science and defy reason. In the late 20th century, a Russian team launched an expedition. They claimed Kailash wasn't natural, but a pyramid 9 times the size of Khufu's, surrounded by over 100 aligned peaks. They called it the Pyramid Group of Tibet. Then came stranger things. Time distortion, hair and nails growing as if weeks had passed in hours. More disturbing, 4 climbers died within a year of returning. Different causes, no clear explanation. The team left behind only one line. Perhaps they touched the sacred mountain. Long before that, a secret Nazi expedition came to Kalash, seeking the legendary axis of the world, a point said to control time and space. Ancient texts speak of a hidden entrance beneath the mountain, leading to Shambhala, a mythical realm beyond dimensions. Modern surveys have detected vast underground voids, stretching tens of thousands of square kilometers. Some believe Kalash rests on a hollow shell, possibly containing liquid water deep within. And then there is Chimo, Tibet's elusive snowman, said to appear only near Kalash, never photographed, never confirmed. But many pilgrims speak of a presence, a gaze felt through the mist. If that weren't enough, Kalash itself defies logic. Its sun-facing side stays snow-covered all year, while the shaded side remains bare. Stranger still, natural erosion has carved a near-perfect spiral into the cliff face, a swastika-like symbol of cosmic rebirth in Buddhism and Bon. Under certain light, it seems to rise from the rock itself, like a mark left by the divine. Beyond time, beyond maps, legend says the gods once drew a radiant line across the earth, linking lost civilizations, strange energies, and questions we still fear to ask. Mount Kalash lies near the 31st parallel north, on what some call the mystic latitude. This invisible line passes through the Bermuda Triangle, the pyramids of Egypt, the Himalayas, and other ancient sites lost to time. Kalash stands on a near-perfect axis, equal to Stonehenge and the North Pole, double to the south, too precise to dismiss. Mount Kalash rises just 6,656 meters, far from the tallest, yet it remains unconquered. It demands reverence, not conquest, a sacred boundary drawn not by height, but by the force of nature itself. Dawn breaks as the wheels begin to turn, leaving base camp behind. The destination, Baga Village, the true foot of Mount Kalash. Outside, mountain winds rise. Prayer flags whip in the air. The road is short, but the journey feels like ritual. With each passing kilometer, the sacred peak looms larger. And then she emerges, Mount Kalash, parting the clouds, unveiling the divine. Standing at her base is like standing at the gates of a divine temple, and along the path that circles her, pilgrims are already walking. Elders, children, travelers from afar, each tracing ancient steps, quietly measuring their faith across heaven and earth. This is the kora. To walk clockwise around Kailash, a 52-kilometer journey, 2 to 3 days, no shortcuts, no shelter, only footsteps and belief. For the devout, it's a journey of purification. One circuit cleanses this life's sins. 10 release you from hell. 108 and you ascend to Buddhahood. Some prostrate at every step. Some end their life's journey here, but all believe. On this road, the soul will be seen, suffering forgiven, and every wish heard. And yet, the closer you come, the further it slips from reason. Across faiths, across centuries, it has stood, where the divine resides, where the universe turns. Mount Kailash was never meant to be claimed. To climb it is to desecrate it. So people walk, people bow, a rare restraint where the modern world honors ancient faith. Why is this mountain called the center of the world? Perhaps because from its base flow the sources of 4 sacred rivers, the Ganges, the Indus, the Sutlej, and the Yarlung Sampa. Pilgrims once followed them upstream, believing they traced the earth's very veins, until they arrived here. In the barren vastness of the Gangdais Mountains, they saw this solitary peak as the origin of all things. For decades, expeditions have come, seeking the truth of an ancient pyramid. None found proof. Tibetan scriptures say nothing. Not a single line confirms human hands. Mount Kailash remains veiled in silence, her mystery untouched. Even in an age of science, she stands, a mirror at the edge of reason. Beneath her icy cliffs, faith, myth, and science meet and fall quiet. Here, at the crossroads of time and belief, she draws a line, not of stone, but of ore. As Kailash fades into mist, I return to Barga, the last village before the sacred. Pilgrims rest here. The streets are still. The air smells of butter and barley. I step inside. The fire is warm, the tea steaming from the heights of the divine. I return to the quiet grace of the everyday.
啊，来，我们尝尝酥油茶。这个干锅鸡辣不辣？
干锅鸡现在没有。
没有啊。啊。
I sit quietly in a corner, sipping tea in silence. Its warmth chasing the cold from my skin, but part of me is still there, beneath the mountain's silent gaze.
西藏咖喱饭，类似于汤饭。
If Kailash is a baptism, then this simple meal is the world's warm reply. No matter how far we go, the soul always returns to the glow of an earthly fire. Beyond the unseen line, between belief and the world, 2 lakes face each other, one bright and pure, the other dark and still. At the southeastern foot of Mount Kailash, Lake Manasarova lies still, a sapphire mirror set into the plateau sky. At 4,588 meters, it is the world's highest freshwater lake, reflecting the timeless vastness of snow and sky. They call it the Lake of Unconquerable Emerald Light, a mirror of paradise where sins dissolve and souls begin again. Just a few kilometers west of this sacred lake lies another, utterly different in spirit and presence, a bitter salt lake, undrinkable, untouchable, revered by none, long beside Manasorovar, but it reflects nothing, only stillness and silence.
开着奔驰轿，好，他过那个库地打板、马扎打板，还黑卡打板，真是生气也是。
Lake Rakshastal, the so-called Ghost Lake, lurks like a silent shadow on the land, its cobalt waters shimmering with a cold, metallic light.
这个里面特别像那个，特别像那个加拿大的那个 Jasper National Park。Jasper National Park 的那个 Martin Lake 中间有一个岛，给它起了个名字叫精灵岛，但是颜色都是一样的，都是冰激湖，对吧？
Nothing lives in its depths. Locals call it the Lake of the In-Between, a resting place for souls that were never set free. The two lakes exist side by side, but the line between them is unmistakable, as if etched into the plateau itself. Life and death, light and shadow. What holds us here, and what waits beyond? Mount Kailash has long ceased to be just a mountain. At her feet, faith flows, and the lakes, they are her eyes. One watches the world of the living, the other sees what we cannot. Mount Kailash, the legendary center of the world. Pilgrims from across the earth circle her endlessly, as if orbiting the universe's heart, ever drawing near, yet never touching the sacred core. Her mysteries may never be solved, her summit never reached, her divinity never fully known. She is a mountain by geography, but a witness to time, a spiritual axis, a meeting point of belief. And here I understood something. The meaning we spend a lifetime chasing was never waiting at the top. It lives instead in quiet steps, through wind and snow, in the warmth of shared tea, the soft glow of a fire, and the silent empathy that binds us to others. Mount Kailash is a mountain of the gods, but she reflects the human heart. She does not bend, she does not bless on demand, yet through awe and struggle, she teaches us to let go of pride and return to what is true. We may never unravel her mysteries, but perhaps we can learn from her. Still in silence, kind in solitude, unmoved by the winds of the world.